All right. I guess I'm live, y'all. It's been a minute since I've been on here, but I do see that there's a lot of stuff that I've been missing out on since I've been gone. Oh, the coonery continues in Black YouTube. I swear y'all just be off the chains up in here. All right. It's been a minute. I've been kind of focusing on me, doing my thing, making sure my situation is tight. And I stepped my head back in for just a second, just to see how my people are doing. And you all have been cooning y'all ass off in Black YouTube. Let me see. Let me count the waves here. Let me count the waves. What's up, Doug? What's up? Man, the coonery in Black YouTube, man. I don't know. I took a little hiatus, a little break. Had to, get my little sanity break from the coonery. I come back and the coonery is at an all-time high. Now, I don't have all the details or all the stuff that I've been seeing out here, but apparently, first things first. It seems like Cynthia G had a little situation over there at her channel where she had a Brad call in to her show. She had a Brad call in, and Brad told the truth. Okay, there was a lot of things that he said over there that rang true, and niggas got upset. So that's the first thing that I want to talk about. And then the second thing is this whole situation with Bill Cosby. Apparently, everybody want to say Black women upset about Bill Cosby being free and all this other stuff. Now, once again, I had not been on social media. I have been taking my social media hiatus. So I don't know about Twitter and all these Instagram and all this stuff exploding and Black women allegedly so mad and all this other stuff. But I will say this, okay? He got off on a technicality. It was a technicality, okay? And I say good for him. Because let's just put it this way, the just less system, the way that they railroad our people back and forth through there, I'm just going to be honest with you. Any one of us that can get off, the same way I was happy when OJ got off, I'm happy that Bill Cosby got off. Because I'm going to tell you, the way they railroad our people through this just list system, it is a shame. And anybody sitting up here not happy for this man, you really, really, really need to review how they do us. Whether we're guilty or innocent, we get railroaded. And those of us that don't have Bill Cosby money, we just lost. We get lost in the sauce. So anytime any one of us can beat this system, I am celebrating. So that's the second thing. So first thing was Cynthia G. Second thing, Bill Cosby. Third thing that you guys are running around here talking about on Black YouTube. Apparently Kevin Samuels is he's always a hot topic. Okay, Kevin Samuels is always going to be a hot topic. Here's the thing with that. apparently, Kevin Samuels' daughter had a few things that she had to get off her man. And shout out to Grandmaster Troll for his stream last night. I caught the tail end of it, watched the replay. Something ain't right with that whole situation with his daughter, by the way. And I'm a parent, okay? I raised 4 children. I know exactly how children are. Now, I done had to body slam a couple of kids in my day, okay? In my day. So I know exactly when kids get up out their bodies and they try to test you as a parent, and sometimes they even try to get up in your face. So I know about that choke slam. So if y'all want to sit up here and y'all want to judge Kevin Samuels because he did a choke slam on his daughter, first you have to also ask, what was the other side of that story. Now, I am not a Kevin Samuels fan. I don't have anything against him personally. I just don't like his talking points. But I'm fair, and I like to call things down the line. And when I see bullshit, I'm going to call out bullshit. So with that whole thing with his daughter, and she want to come out and talk about how she got choke slammed when she was a teenager. Well, let's think about some of the things that our teenagers have done that made us want to choke slam their ass. Because see, I can't believe that a parent would just out of nowhere, without any prompting, just an evil parent, just out of nowhere choke slam their kid for nothing. So Kevin Samuel's daughter, with all due respect, I'm a parent. I know how you kids are. I know how y'all are. And I got some mighty fine children, if I do say so myself. But they weren't always disciplined. I had to invoke the discipline. So yeah, a couple of people had to get choke slam in the day. Hell, I wasn't always a disciplined child. My mama hit me upside the head with a high heel shoe one time. But you don't see me going online telling everybody about it. Now I could go and have a whole sob story about the beatings I used to get when I was a kid. So when I see these kids up here talking about their parents beat them, I'm thinking to myself, good, you probably deserved it. But at any rate, let me go and get my roster together. First things first, the whole Cynthia G situation. I do want to talk about that because there are a couple of nuances to that situation that I want to break down. Now, I do see that she had the Brad on her channel. I took the time out to watch a little bit of that snippet of what Brad had to say. And I will have to agree with a lot of the things that came out in that conversation. First thing that came out into that conversation was, and here's the thing, I'm going to call it down the middle because, see, I think Brad was on a little bit of bullshit his damn self. Okay. And I'm going to call him Brad. I don't know what the guy's name is. I believe that I heard Kristen Harrison refer to him as being Brian. But I don't know the man's name. I just know he called into Cynthia G's show. And the things that he was saying is nothing different than what Black women and some Black men have been saying themselves. But for some reason or another, when white people observe our situation and they regurgitate the same stuff that we have been complaining about ourselves, we get up in arms and we want to be, oh, you shouldn't let them disrespect us. Brad didn't disrespect us. Okay, we disrespect ourselves by acting a fool in front of everybody. And so if we act a fool in front of everybody and everybody is able to observe the coonery, the clowning, the foolishness, we can't then turn around and get mad at them because they have observed it and they told us that they observed it. And that's what happened on Cynthia G's channel. The white people are coming out and they are telling us that they see us and they're observing us. It's not disrespectful because the man told no lies. He told no lies. Now, I sat there and I listened to his side of the story. I listened to him talk about how he had run into plenty of Black men in his business dealings and that they were whining, that they act like petulant children, and he does not respect them as men because he, as a man himself, he has to take care of his household. He has to pay child support for his children. And he has to go out there and he has to make sure every day that he's taking care of his woman as well as himself and his family. All of that weight is on his shoulder. He does not put that on the woman's shoulder. And what he was saying on Cynthia G's show is that he does not understand Black men and how they talk about a 70% out of wedlock birth rate, but they do not blame themselves for what they complain about. He said, as a white man, he has to put the onus on the men in his community. And he don't understand why black men don't do the same. Now, Cynthia G had a very good conversation, very good back and forth, where there was no being disrespectful. She didn't call him an evil white albinoid. They had a grown-up exchange between the two of them. And as Cynthia brought up a point that she'd been bringing up, because black men love to go online and talk about how black women chose welfare over them. And she said to Brad, how is it that you white men, your women started the feminist movement, your women are on welfare more than anybody else in this country, but yet you all still manage not to be subdued by your own women? It has not, you have managed to continue to maintain your masculinity and your power within your own group. Your women did not bring you down by becoming feminists or being on welfare. And the Brad responded to her saying, hey, this right here, welfare, that is a social program. And he said, as a matter of fact, if I could give extra to single mothers raising children, he said, I would. He said, why would I sit here and want to take away from my own? This is what Brad says. And he also says that white men are not intimidated by black men because they don't respect them. So now he's telling from a white man's point of view what he feels about black men. And see, we got to get out our feelings, people, about what we talk about is disrespect. Because not one time did Brad call you a nigga. Not one time did he say that, you know, you guys are dumb and all this type of stuff. As a matter of fact, he's trying to figure out how come you're not using your gifts and your talents to uplift yourselves more. He's wondering how come we have a whole group of men that are sitting here putting the onus of everything on their women instead of getting out here and building for themselves and taking goddamn responsibility for their own actions. So no lies were told. And I believe O'Shea came out and he did a video and he even said no lies was told. But now I'm going to tell you the disingenuousness of Brad. This is what I observed. This is the only thing. Now, I noticed that when Brad came on there, he was upset with Tariq Nasheed. Why was Brad or Brian or whatever his name is? Why was he upset with Tariq Nasheed? Because he watched Tariq Nasheed's movie, Buck Breaking. What is Buck Breaking about? Well, I remember 3 years ago, I went on to O'Shea Duke Jackson's broadcast. I called in to O'Shea Duke Jackson's show when he was doing the call-ins. And I introduced a terminology called pegging. And I remember back when I introduced it on O'Shea's broadcast, people told me that I was being, how can I say, raunchy. I was being nasty. Because I said that pegging is a form of buck breaking a long time ago. And what buck breaking is back during the slavery times, white men would sleep with their slaves. White men would sleep with their black male slaves in order to break their mentality. And I said 3 years ago on O'Shea's panel that now they have pegging. And this is LGBTQ bullshit. I'm just going to put it out there, where they're introducing black women or women in general boinking their men in the behind for sexual pleasure. And I said, you got to be a damn fool if you're a woman, if you want to sit up here and emasculate your own man. You want to buck break your own man. And I said a long time ago that this is the introduction to turning your own men into bitches. I said that a long time ago, but when I said it, oh, Faith, you raunchy. You ain't no woman. Women don't talk like this. No, I was thinking a long time ago. And then Tariq Nasheed comes out with his movie Buck Breaking, and he's a genius. Tariq Nasheed comes out with a movie called Buck Breaking, talking about the same thing I talked about 3 years ago, and he's a genius. Well, now I get back to why was Brad sitting up there on Cynthia G's panel upset? I'm gonna tell you why Brad was sitting up there upset with Tariq Nasheed. Because see, he didn't call Cynthia G because he give a damn about the black community. They never do. White people, they sit on black YouTube and they observe us and they laugh at us. But what Tariq Nasheed did was he exposed the white man for his homosexual behavior. And so you got one Brad that just couldn't contain himself. He couldn't hold it in. You got one Brad that just had to let us know how the white men feel about that. Because, see, it's okay for them to expose your homosexuality. It's okay for the white man to tell black men to put on dresses. But as soon as a black man exposes the white man's degenerative homosexual behavior, well, you got Brad calling in to the Cynthia G show, and now all of a sudden he want to drag black men. So see, this is what I tell you. You got to look at things and call it down the middle. That's the reason why I always say it's always good to have balance. Now, even though Mr. Brad, Mr. Brian, or whatever his name is, he spoke a lot of truths. It was not lost on me. Why? Because he was upset that Tariq Nasheed exposed the white man for his deviant sexual behavior. That's why. Tariq Nasheed did a whole documentary talking about the homosexual behavior of white men toward black men, and Brad was mad. And I'm very surprised Cynthia did not call him out on that. Because, see, even though he's pretty much, upholding a lot of the things that Cynthia's been saying for numerous years, and it's been a long time coming. It was definitely necessary for us to hear. But you know what, Brad? We should have taken you to task that day as to the real reason why you were calling Cynthia's show and you were upset with Tariq Nasheed. You were triggered. The white man was triggered. And so he called up to Cynthia G's show and he joined her in talking about black male and their coonery. And yeah, he told some truths. But Tariq didn't lie either in his documentary. And so now we have been successfully deflected from the degenerative white male homosexual behavior that they have been inflicting upon our group for numerous years. We have been successfully deflected from that. because Brad called and agreed with us. Congratulations. Which brings me over to Bill Cosby. I was watching Sister George and Concrete Rose. They did an excellent show about it. They talked about it. It was a great discussion. Everybody on all sides had some pretty good points. You had some people saying that Bill Cosby is a rapist and he deserves to be in jail because of his actions. And then you had some people saying, well, Bill Cosby never admitted to raping anyone. He just admitted to giving them drugs they asked for. And see, this is why I can't really jump on board when the Brads come and the Beckys come and uh, they appear to be agreeing with some of our talking points, because they have an entire system that they use against us, and they would do it in a heartbeat. So while some of them may give us a token of agreement, we're still living in a system where they are kicking our ass expeditiously anytime they feel like it. So in a moment when they're not agreeing with you and they want to throw your ass behind bars, they can twist the law and do exactly what they did to Bill Cosby. So when they told Bill Cosby, when he signed the paperwork and when he got up there and he was being open and confessing certain things that he did, he thought he was doing so under the protection of that agreement. But being in the just less system, the just less system, what these evil white albinoids, as Cynthia G would call them, did was they twisted the law so that they can go after Bill Cosby. And I am so glad that Bill Cosby was able to get off on a technicality because they fucked up. Now, you had all these white women during the disco era 30 years ago coming out talking about how he drugged them and raped them because somebody had an axe to grind with Bill Cosby, and they were able to get these women to come out and say these things. Now, how is it that they can come together, whether they are right or wrong, to do you in? But we got to think about coming together, whether we're right or wrong. Now, whether Bill Cosby's right or wrong, whether OJ Simpson was right or wrong, we celebrated when OJ got off, even though he's the biggest coon of them all, because I know how this just less system does us. So this was a time for us to get together and celebrate. As a black woman, I could give a damn that Bill Cosby got off. I could give a damn. Because I see every day, just going off of my own situation, my own brush in with the law. I sat there and watched them parade young black male, and now they're getting the young black females, case after case, in a courtroom one day when I was sitting in there. And none of them had proper representation. None of them. Every single one of them I saw was copying a plea, whether they were guilty or innocent, because the system sets it up that way. And I saw nothing but us being treated like this. So, for all of you that want to sit up here and judge the Bill Cosby situation, take a field trip down to your local courthouse and sit in on some of these criminal cases where it's only our people being railroaded. And you will sit there and you will get mad at the lack of representation. So if Bill Cosby got off on a technicality, good for him. Good for him. Kent Hyde said, just like they paraded us on the auction block, modern day slavery. Exactly. Modern day slavery is all it is. Kent Hyde also says, only thing I want to hear and see from them are reparations. Thank you. And there are some states that are giving a form of reparations to Black people. They're starting to rethink the whole reparations thing. But my whole thing is, I'm not going to be satisfied until I see money. Cut me the check. I don't want no symbolic isms and reparations. I'm tired of Black people accepting symbolic bullshit. We need money. We need check. We need economics. Slayer Jim says they reopened Bill's case just because of media hype. Yeah, I agree. Jason Schaffner makes a good point, and white people are saying nothing about Weinstein. Exactly. Where are the white women running around here talking about Weinstein on Twitter and Instagram? But our Black asses in front of everybody arguing about Bill Cosby. Make that make sense. Last but not least, Kevin Samuels' daughter. I heard a little snippet of her confessional. And I kind of put her in the same category that I put what's his name, the gospel singer, his daughter. I can't think of his name right now. The gospel singer's son. What's his name? Goodness gracious, the guy that sang that song Stump. His son was on here, cutting a goddamn fool, talking about his daddy. Now you got Kevin Samuels' daughter cutting a damn fool, talking about her daddy choke slammed her on the window of the car. Now, the way that these people are making this stuff sound, Kirk Franklin, thank you, Rude. Thank you, Rudin. Kirk Franklin. Bro Speak says Kirk Franklin. Thank you, Bro Speak. Yeah, so the way that these people are making it sound, they make it sound as if these parents are just all of a sudden losing their mind, snapping out of nowhere, and just gonna choke slam their kid or just gonna cuss their kid out on the phone without no provocation. And I got to call bullshit on that. I listened to the little snippet of the tape that the little girl, put out. And if the things that she said is true, Kevin Samuels got a problem, right? But for all of you in here that are parents, all of you in here that have been children yourselves, teenagers, for all of you in here that had a old grandmama, because see, Kevin Samuels, he's at the tail end of Generation X. He could have been a baby boomer. So he has more baby boomer background than Gen X. So when this little girl talk about he grabbed my neck and slammed me up against the car window, and I'm just a kid, I might have had a little slick mouth. I'm thinking to myself, okay, now you trying to explain away yo fuckery. See, I'm a parent, and I know how kids, even some grown kids, try to play people against their parents over some fucked up shit they did. So you got to take shit like that with a grain of salt. Now, if Kevin has just lost his goddamn mind and he just going around choke slamming his daughter with no provocation, yeah, he a sick son of a bitch. But it's been my experience, these slick mouth teenagers will try their parents when they get to be a certain age. Because I know I did. I tried my mama. My mama dropped me like she was a WWE wrestler for trying her one day. And I never did it again. Never have I ever thought about running to anybody and telling somebody that my mama body slammed me one day. Because I knew I deserved it. Deep in my heart, I knew I was cutting up. Hell, I choke slammed my daughter one day for getting in my face. Choke slams happen. And usually, when they do happen, it's not unprovoked. I was on Facebook. I really wanted to show this video of this black mother checking her kid on the bus. I don't know if you guys saw this video circulating around on Facebook. That's where I saw it, on Facebook. It might be on Instagram. But this black mother was on the school bus. The school bus driver was telling her that her son was cutting up, wouldn't stay in his seat the whole time he was on the bus. He wouldn't keep his mask on. She had to tell him over and over again, sit down, put your mask on, etc., etc. And that black mother went on that bus and went off on her child. And he said, you will respect this bus driver. You will not cut up on this bus. I will beat your ass. And she went on further to tell the bus driver, listen, I know that my child can get out of order. You got my permission. When he get out of order, you take him around back behind that bus and you get in that ass. You got my permission. She said, it takes a village. I'm old school. And I'm going to tell you something. The way some of these kids are nowadays, the whininess of how some of these grown adult kids, these kids getting, I say Generation Z. I'm going to get on Generation Z. Y'all some whiny ass, spineless people. Y'all don't know how to do nothing for yourselves. Generation Z, y'all the most mollycoddled generation I ever seen in my life. Y'all don't know how to pay bills. You don't know how to pay rent. You want to live with your parents until you're 50. Generation Z, y'all are just spoiled, and we spoiled you. We spoiled you. I really believe that we should have been beating y'all ass more. Yes, I said it. Because when I was coming up, if I cut up and my next door neighbor saw me cutting up, Guess who got their ass beat right there? And then they took me to my mama house, and my mama heard what I did, and then I got my ass beat a second time. And then when I went to go visit my grandmama, just for my mama telling my grandmama what I did, when I went to go visit her 2 weeks later, I was getting my ass beat again. And guess what? I might have even forgot what I did, but for the future shit that I was gonna plan on doing, I didn't do it. Even for future shit that I was planning on doing, I didn't do it again based off the ass whoopings I get. And so now, Generation X, the baby boomers, we are more independent as adults. But you Gen Z, Gen Y, and Gen Z, y'all some whiners. I never seen so much whining, crying, and complaining. You can't do nothing for yourselves. And then you want to sit up here and blame everything on your parents, even after you became grown and your parents had nothing to do with the decisions that you make. You go and get a psychiatrist and lay on their damn couch and whine and complain about your childhood. And that's the reason why, even as an adult, you're making dumbass decisions. I don't believe in that, y'all. When I turned 18, I became responsible for myself and my own decisions because my parents had very little input anymore. I could enter into legal contracts, I could get married, I could do anything I wanted. And so that self accountability fell on me. Slayer Jim says, Faith, these parents now will go fight the teacher for disciplining their children. I believe it. I believe it. And see, I've been in these high schools where these kids are kicking the teacher's ass. So I know I have volunteered in schools where I want to beat somebody else's kid's ass because they was getting disrespectful with me. And I'm there trying to help you with your homework because your mother and your father too lazy to do it. I've done this. I've seen the bad behavior. Now, I'm not saying that going upside a kid head is the answer all the time, because some of these kids do need to be sat down and you need to analyze where they're coming from, analyze the situation, and they need a good talking to. They need advice. They need somebody to guide them. So it's not just beating without guidance, but it is definitely part of the discipline. And the discipline is missing nowadays. You got a lot of soft parents out here. You got a lot of soft parents out here that do not discipline their children. And they don't want nobody else saying nothing to them, though, when they out here cutting up in the world. And so then when your child runs into a racist ass police officer and they have to be disciplined by the system, now all of a sudden you want to know what the hell happened. You didn't instill discipline. You didn't make them productive members of society. That was on you. You allowed them to cut up at home, and now they're out here in the streets cutting up because they were able to get away with it. And we got good kids out here. The kids today are smarter than we were. Very capable. And you know what? In today's age, it is a good time to be a teenager. It is a good time to be a college student because all of the tools that they have today with the technology they got out here, I got to turn on my air conditioner. I'm burning up out here in this car. With the technology that we have today, these kids don't have to suffer like we used to suffer back in the day. Remember back in the day when you had to scramble to get part-time job for the summer? You had to scramble for that McDonald's job, scramble for that telemarketing job. You had to scramble for any job that you can get, even if it was delivering telephone books at 5 o'clock in the morning. Those summer jobs did not come plentiful for us. But now it's a great time to be a teenager. It's a great time to be a college student because we got the age of technology. Now, if you're 18 years old and you have a driver's license, a cell phone, and your parents spoiled you and bought you a car, you can go and work a gig app and make money. You don't even have to apply at nobody's institution to make money now. So these kids got it real good. They got it real good. They can go to school. They can earn a little money on the side. Yeah, exactly, can't have. Go Uber. It's a good time. There is no excuse now for y'all whining and complaining and talking about what you can and can't do. Because we didn't have these tools when we were coming up. When I was coming up, it was hella hard. If my parents didn't have it when I was in college, I just had to go without until I could finally get a job. There was no grab the cell phone, get in the car, and boom, I'm making money. There was none of that when I was coming up. So you Generation Y and Generation Z, y'all some spoiled, lazy people. I'm just gonna put it out there. Y'all got every tool available now to be successful. And y'all want to come online and complain about your parents. You got every tool available now. If you're not successful, it's not your parents, it's you. Exactly, bro. Speak. Uber, DoorDash, so many things to make side money in this day and age. In this era of being a kid, of being a teenager or a college student, these kids got it made. So I don't feel sorry when I hear them on here allegedly talking about their abusive parents. I got my ass beat and I survived. So I don't want to hear about nobody talking about an ass whooping they got that they probably deserved. You know, like I said, I'm not a Kevin Samuels fan. But if he had to choke slam his daughter because he walked in and caught her twerking on the car on some little boy, I don't blame him. We don't know what the other side of that story is. And this is from somebody that don't even support Kevin. Now, there's a lot of his talking points that I would, love to have a one-on-one conversation with him. And I mean a real conversation, not no penny ante back and forth of name calling, but actually talking about the points. Because he does have a lot of talking points that really don't measure up to today's standards. But that's the problem, though. You got a lot of men out here. Kevin Samuels done got y'all into the mindset that you want to go backwards into the 1950s and 1960s. And as I stated just now, we in 2021 going into 2022. We got all this technology. Women have just as many opportunities to be successful now as men. So now we don't have the 1960s need for some man to come save us and marry us and put us in a home and take care of us. Women are taking care of themselves these days. So now men are going to have to come with something else to offer a woman in 2022. And now women, we want companionship. We want men that we want. We want men that we actually desire. Because we can get it for ourselves now. It's not necessary for our survival anymore to get married like it was back in the 50s and 60s when we didn't have many opportunities. Those days are over. Get over it, guys. Those of you that can't get over it, you're going to get left behind. That's what's going to happen. And so that's what Brad was saying on Cynthia G's show the other day. That's basically what Brad was saying. All other groups of men are adapting. Black men want black women to go backwards. It's not going to work. And that's the reason why Kevin Samuels' talking points are going to fail when people finally realize that there's not a lot of rich men, period, whether they're black or white. So this whole, you got to jump through all these hoops to get a high value man and all this type of stuff, that right there, when people realize, when they crunch the numbers, and there's still going to be some dumb people that don't crunch the numbers or do any research, and that's fine. You know, that there's three types of people that watch Kevin Samuels. Okay, there's the stupid that don't do any research, and they hang on every word he says, and they think it's the gospel. Kind of like how black people go to church and they don't really read the Bible for themselves, but they hang on every word the preacher says and they think it's the gospel. And sometimes the preacher sneaks some stuff in that ain't even in the Bible. But that's what Kevin Samuels be doing. Then you got the people that watch his show for entertainment. That's mostly the white people, the non-black people, and the black people that just thinks the shit is funny, like me. I watch Kevin Samuels all the time. It's funny. It's entertainment, and I take it as entertainment. And then you have the people that support Kevin Samuels because they're benefiting and profiting from it. Three types of people that watch Kevin Samuels. That's it in a nutshell. The dumb, the people that want to be entertained, and the people that profit from him. That's it. Anybody that got good sense knows that the stuff that Kevin Samuels is saying do not apply today. The ideas are old and antiquated, and you trying to apply that stuff in 2022, you're going to fail. I'll just put it that way. You're going to fail. Like I said, I have two daughters. One daughter, she married, for love. And also she could walk and chew gum at the same time as far as choosing. She didn't choose a man that was poor or broke. I don't advocate choosing men that are broke. But at the same time, she put work in herself and she brings a lot to the table herself. And she wants somebody that's going to match what she brings. And so she's in a happy marriage. Whereas my oldest daughter, I don't know, I guess I suspect she listens to Kevin Samuels. She's about to marry this guy. He's a military guy, but he's well off, got money. And she's about to marry him for the money and the benefits and all that dumb shit, but she can't stand his ass. And every chance she gets, she tells me she can't stand this motherfucker. She really does. She can't stand his ass. And she's miserable. But, hey, she listens to Kevin Samuels. And I talk to my daughters about Kevin Samuels and different people online and stuff like that. And, she want to drink the Kool-Aid. She grown. My kids are grown. I'm a parent of grown children. I'm in an advisory stage in their lives now. Only thing I can do is advise her that she's making a mistake. That's what I said, can't hide. Don't marry him. Big mistake. What's up, Viper Sniper? And I just want to say, because I'm about to get off here because I got work to do. But for everybody that came in, Doug, Just Being Jazzy, Slayer Jim, Rude Dim. Rude Dim be having some shit on his show, I swear. Can't Hide. Everybody that came in. Now, if I didn't get you, Freddie Silver, I see you over here. Bro Speak Podcast. Thank you for being a member, by the way. You know what, Bro Speak Podcast, I don't know if she listens to Shira 7 or not. I stopped listening to Shira 7 a long time ago. The fakery is at an all-time high with some of these people, and they're not being honest about their situation and how they got into it. What's up, Joe W? Yes, that is a big red flag. And these are things that I do talk to my daughter about. I'm telling her all the time, hey, if you're not happy now, the things that he give you can make you happy just for a moment. But at the end of the day, when the newness of those things wear off, you still got to deal with him, and you can't stand him. So, it is what it is. All I can do is advise at this point. But nevertheless, I got shit I got to do. I've been on here nearly an hour. I just wanted to stick my head in, have a conversation with my people. If you're listening to this on the replay, please hit the like button because that keeps me on top. Everybody that's in the chat, 20 of you guys in here, please hit the like button, keep me on top. And I'm going to have to say I'm out. Peace. Thank you for joining.